So my view is, for any political party, you have to start with your base, your core vote, and then build outwards. And for Labour, if you look at the history of the Labour Party, its core vote is working class people. You know, that's who it was set up to represent. In those, some of those constituencies we listed that have now gone Tory. That's where you start as a Labour Party. Now, Labour will only succeed electorally, in my view, and has historically only succeeded electorally when it's been able to maintain the trust of its core vote, at the same time as appealing to a sufficient layer of, if you like, more middle class, more liberal, less tribal voters. And I'm certainly not somebody who says that the path to victory in the future for the Labour Party is just to appeal exclusively to the old industrial working class. That, all we've got to do is appeal to the people in the Don Valleys and the Bolsovers, and that's it, we're back on the path to victory. Actually, I think it's good that we can win other places like Canterbury and Kensington and places like that. I think the problem has been, certainly more recently, is that we have won some of those other places at the expense, if you like, of the traditional working class areas. And that's because, as a party, we have become so obsessed with one part of that equation, which is the sort of middle class liberal part of the equation, whilst almost ignoring the sort of more traditional working class part of the equation. And I think that a big reason for that is because the party itself, the composition of the party, the demographic of the party has changed so significantly over recent years. I've been in the party for 25 years. And actually, in my time, the party's changed hugely. I mean, there was a time where, you go to Labour Party conferences, for example, and there would be, strong working class voices there, people who had come up through the trade union movement, manual workers, blue-collar workers who are now trade unionists and ordinary grassroots members of constituency Labour parties. Going to Labour Party conference over the years, those voices have become fewer and fewer, and the more dominant voices have become those sort of middle class, like woke, sort of liberal, cosmopolitan voices, to the degree now where you go to Labour Party conferences and you just realise that it really isn't a reflection of the country at large. 77% of the party come from the sort of ABC1 middle class social grade. The party has got hardly any roots now in many of those constituencies, those sort of working class constituencies. So unless the party can find a way of shifting the emphasis, if you like, from the sort of middle class, liberal, globalist, cosmopolitan, city-based element of it, back to, the traditional working class areas, and trying to build a coalition, as I say, build from your base and work out, rather than, look to that sort of new constituency and hope that the working class stays with you, which it didn't. Then unless the Labour Party can do that, then I think, frankly, it could be out of power for at least 10 years. I think there's a question over the future of the Labour Party as a party of government at all. I think there's a danger it becomes a permanent protest movement. And the signs since the election are not good. If you look at some of the front runners for the Labour leadership, I think they're, I've got nothing against them personally, but I think they're everything that's wrong with the Labour Party to a certain degree. I've pitched it as we've become all Hampstead and not enough Hartlepool over recent years. And I think if you look at people like Keir Starmer and Emily Thornberry and Clive Lewis, those people are not going to win back some of those constituencies that we need to win back.
What about Rebecca Long-Bailey? Because she thought that Corbyn's leadership was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, she's the one more Heave candidate. That's the truth of it. And again, nothing personal. I'm sure she's a very decent, principled woman. But the idea that we just didn't try hard enough, and we didn't sort of push hard enough, and these people really are on board with what we're arguing. We just need, one more Heave. We just need to redouble our efforts, I think is delusional.